Hey there, girlfriend. Ingafay here. Super excited to be here with you today. I have a very special guest, and she's a homie because she's from Virginia too. Her name is Jenn, and we are going to talk about the it factor. And if the it factor is all about having people turn their heads and find out who is this person that just walked in the room. So we're going to find out all about this on the other side. So we'll see you soon on the other side. Hey Jen, how you doing, girl?
I'm awesome. So great to see you.
Yes, it's so great to be seen. Yes, and girl, we are so excited to talk about this it factor. How you're going to tell us we're going to turn all of these heads, and people are just going to want to know who is that person. But before we get into that, we want to get into your business, girl. Tell us a little bit about you, who you are, who you serve, and how you serve them.
Yeah, I'm Jen, and my alter ego is the Style Dominatrix. I always have like a whip here. Just to say, it's a creative metaphor. I don't perform like any sexual activities or physical pain with my clients. And this whole metaphor about turning your shame and alchemizing it and turning it into your power and helping people really own their spotlight. And I do that with helping them with their style and with their energy and with their presence.
Awesome. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Now, I know that when we first met, I guess it was at a networking event that we met at, I think you told me that you were an introvert. So for you to even have this, it's almost like this alter ego that you have on the other side. Tell us a little bit of how you came to start this Style Dominatrix.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I'm definitely an introvert. I feel like I'm like on the high spectrum of introvert. Actually, I need like a lot of space and time alone by myself. And actually I have to say it's like the best trick ever is like I go out into the world and people approach me because of my style. So actually I
it helps.
Yeah. It's like you just like magnetize the cool people. But yeah, I came up with the Style Dominatrix. It actually came out in a very playful sort of way. It wasn't something that I planned, but I was doing a photo shoot with a client of mine in DC actually, and she had done some work within like BDSM and exploring her own sexuality, and I ended up styling this outfit of her which had like a corset, and then we put this like long skirt, so it was very evocative, but it was also elegant, and she had like floggers and stuff, and I don't know, I was just like playing with it, and somehow this idea came about, what if I was the Style Dominatrix? And it's this whole metaphor as I was like shifting things in my brain about with me stepping into my power, and that the work that I've always done is helping people move through the shame and whatever it is that's like holding them back so that they can be liberated. And it was the perfect thing. And I think it's fun for me too. It's fun for me because it's like having this alter ego. It's like the side of myself that I can call upon for me to be even more brave and step outside my own box and help other people do the same.
Right. I love it. I love it. It makes me think about Beyonce. I know on an interview with Oprah, she was talking about how she's an introvert as well. Most people would say, no, she's not, but she is. And she was saying that before she gets on stage, she gets extremely nervous, but she calls in her Sasha Fierce is the person, I guess that's her alter ego that she calls in. So when she gets on stage, she can be Sasha Fierce. So that's so cool. So you do the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So tell us a little bit more about how you own the spotlight. I saw that and I was just like, what is that all about?
Yeah. Well, for me, owning the spotlight is not just putting on like a pretty dress to get attention. It's also like a lot of the inner work that you do to, first discover who you are, to like free yourself from the things that are holding you back. And I think so many times there's like so much conditioning around like with women about how we're supposed to show up, how we're supposed to dress, and really to be fully into like go through this process of being fully in tune with you and what really is going to light you on fire and what's going to be your unique way of expressing. And I especially love working with, I call it like creative geniuses and trailblazers and people who already have, they're different. They don't quite fit in anywhere and they have their own expression, and just really encouraging them to actually go and like dial it up even more. And I think you can own the spotlight. I have clients that are moms and they're dropping their kids off and they own, and like they wear things that they feel good in and feel confident in. And I have people that I style for stages or these other, big events. And I think you can own the spotlight, going to the coffee shop. Like, it doesn't have to be, it's not always just for the big moments. I think of it more of like this pride in who you are. Like, it's not just about, I'm trying to get people to look at me. It's actually like, I've worked on myself and I'm bringing out goodness into the world, and I want to go attract more of that back
Right.
so I can serve more.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you've heard that saying from Deion Sanders that he doesn't wear cologne, he wears confidence.
Ooh, no, that's
Yeah, oh
amazing.
yeah. Yeah, he says that all the time. I don't need cologne. I have confidence. I have the smell of confidence. So yeah, powerful, huh? Very
Yeah.
powerful. Yeah. So and when you said that, it just instantly made me think about him. And by the way, he's an introvert too. Most people would think that, but he is. But yeah, so that's awesome, awesome. So I'm curious, how do you get people to, I guess, play into that alter ego? Is that something that are you coaching them into that, or are you just kind of giving them permission and they walk it out? How does it work?
Yeah, I think it depends a bit with each person and what it could look like. And I like to say, like, people sometimes we go through certain phases where they're exploring different sides of themselves. I had a client that was really in this romance season of her life and being really happy in a relationship. And I had a client that was embracing her wealthy artist side. I've had, a client that's like calling in, expanding her company even more. So I think it depends. I mean, I honestly think a lot of times the alter ego comes in. It's not something you like force. You can't like it's something. It's just like what happened with me at Style Dominatrix. It came from like play, and I think there's so much about women allowing themselves like place to play, to explore, and then she'll come find you. She'll come tell you when it's time. To embrace this other side of yourself.
I love it. I love it. I know, because oftentimes sometimes I feel like we are trying to live our lives inside of a box or be so much like the people that are around us. And just to have that confidence and that courage to want to step out and be your own person is just phenomenal. Not everybody would want to do that. So, yeah. And then speaking of that, I wanted to talk to you because I remember when we first talked, you were telling me how you started your entrepreneur journey. And it wasn't in the States, it was actually overseas where you just kind of walked it out. I was just amazed by that as well. So share a little bit about that too, because that took a lot of confidence to do that as well.
Yeah. Well, actually, I technically started my entrepreneur journey in 2011. I was a health coach, but really in my fashion journey, I lived in Bali, Indonesia.
Right.
I lived there for 4 years, and I had a made-to-order fashion brand. So I did like made-to-order jumpsuits for women, and that's when I created my Style Oracle deck. And I know it sounds very glamorous and to live in Bali, but there was a lot of and I love Bali so much. It is paradise in a lot of sense, and I had so much growth there. But I also made a lot of mistakes with my brand. My brand was never profitable, and ultimately I realized that I did not enjoy making products. What I really loved was serving people, and it wasn't all that fulfilling. Like, it was only but so fulfilling to create one garment for someone versus like really the deeper essence of who someone is and this whole expression of their style and what was happening in their closets and what's happening in their relationships. So that really was how things evolved. And when it came back to the US, it became clear that that it was time to pivot and to really go fully in the service side.
Yeah. But and you saying that, you said that it wasn't really profitable, but I think that's probably, you needed to walk that out to figure out where you are now. I mean, if you didn't take that risk or, really work to figure out if this was where you wanted to be, you would have still been kind of unsure and not really knowing. So well, kudos to you for, even taking that step of faith, because oftentimes people are very much comfortable in the comfortable instead of the uncomfortable. And I kudos to you for doing that, for sure.
Thank you.
So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the shame drawer story. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that's actually a story I came out with just this year, a few months ago. And it's crazy. I never thought I would tell the world my deepest, darkest secret, and that it would be exactly the thing that connects me with people and is like the deeper essence of my work. So I grew up in Virginia, and in the way that I grew up, there was a lot of shame and stigma, as I know other women as well experience, around having my period. And I got my period earlier than my mom and my sister, and so maybe it wasn't as expected, and it didn't feel like safe to share that I got my period. So basically, even though I lived in an upper middle class family, I actually lived through period poverty because because I didn't
Wow.
have any supplies, and I had to basically what I call is like beg, borrow, and steal. Like often didn't have enough supplies. I would take a tampon from a friend. I would have to take them from the tennis club, and just like always like scout, like trying to find supplies. And it was really stressful, especially because I was a swimmer and I was in the water 6 days a week.
Oh, wow.
And the part of where the shame drawer comes in is because we grew up with 3 dogs, and I knew I couldn't just leave I couldn't leave my trash in the bathroom, which was an open trash can. So for 4 years when I was home, I stuffed my used supplies in the top of my dresser drawer. And, I didn't want to be doing this, but that's what trauma does, is you do things that you're not proud of. And it's like the worst that gets, the more you felt the need to cover it up.
Right.
And for me, my liberation came the day I got my driver's license, because I was able to go to CVS, buy myself supplies, and soon after I went and like dumped the shame drawer, went to the dump. And it's this metaphor in my work of like, what is it that's in your shame drawer? And literally the irony of it all, to today being in people's closets and helping them unpack both their physical and metaphorical shame drawers, and to give, to be like how much freedom you can feel from letting go of, whether it's, things from you were in an abusive relationship before and have clothing from that time in your life, or that your
Right.
body has changed, and that women that aren't able to wear the same things before, or,
Right.
like our clothing, we carry so much energy in it. And to really give people that permission to let go of whatever shame is lingering, so they can shine as who they really are. And that's, I think, such a big piece of owning the spotlight. And I can even see it like in myself. It's like I have this liberation now to like tell the world this dark thing about myself that actually it ended up being my power all along, because that's what I do to help others.
Yep. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. That is awesome. So I'm curious, where do you get the clothes that you style, that you use to style your customers?
Oh, so I thought you were gonna ask me where I get my clothes. Well, I got to tell you this one thing, because this is really cool.
Okay, well, I'm sure it's probably the same place, but go ahead.
It's like yes and no, depending. But I've been talking a lot about this recently. So I have a friend who is a sustainable stylist in California, and she ended up acquiring the world's largest private collection from a man who is 90 years old, and he and his wife are ballroom dancers. And over the course of their lifetime, he had bought his wife 55,000 dresses.
Wow.
Yeah, she never wore the same dress twice, and he wanted her to feel like the most beautiful woman. So my friend ended up acquiring this collection, and she does these like pop-up shops. This is the final one. So actually, this dress that I have here is one of them.
Oh, that's cute.
Thank you. And then I've actually been having, it's been, I think about like 7 dresses or something. So I've actually been wearing some of those, and then I'm going to be going back out to California, and yeah, I'm opening it up for clients and stuff too. So that's an unusual, this is like a once in a lifetime sort of experience, but it has been something really fun, and I love to share about it. But where do I shop for clients? Everyone is so different.
Yeah.
I do really like online shopping. Most of my clients, they live different parts of the country, different parts of the world. So I love the convenience of online. I'm always, searching stuff online, and then they can order it and stuff. Sometimes we do like a VIP shopping trip where we go, like I had a client recently, we were in New York and we went to Saks and Bergdorf. But yeah, I love online because there's such a mix. I have a client actually later, and I love Revolve because they have such a mix. They have like so many brands, and it's so easy to order from them and return stuff. And they ship really fast. But yeah, it's kind of all over the map sometimes clients are into like, especially they're artists and stuff, they love vintage, or they love things I love finding like small brands. Like I feel like I'm always like researching and learning about different brands all the time. It's something that is just, you're never going to run out of fashion brands to learn about. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was just curious about that, because I would think online would be harder because you can't really touch it. You can't feel the fabric. So how do you determine if it's quality or not?
Yeah, I think I'm a pretty good judge, I feel like, of a lot of clothing, especially once you know a brand, you kind of know the level of quality that they have. Looking at the fabric, So yeah, I think I have become a good judge of it, and I also like online because you can try it on in your own home. You're gonna order
Right.
the size that you need. I think it's
Yeah.
actually like a time saver. But with anything, with my job, with the work that I do, it's always there's always an element of like mystery, and there's always an element of like you don't know exactly how things are going to turn out. And I always tell my clients like the work I do is actually this game of manifestation, and you're going to get exactly what we're gonna find your style, and it's gonna be like incredible, and it might even look different than what we initially think. And sometimes you might order something and it doesn't work out, but something else will, and
Right.
things just always fall into place. I have to say.
Okay, well that's good. I mean, that's a good mindset to have. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not limiting yourself. And I guess that's really a mindset of an entrepreneur, right? Because that's how we
Yeah.
roll. So
Yeah.
it's not planned out. It's the unknown, and the ebbs and flows of it all the time. You just roll with it and take it as it comes, but always making sure that you're taking that next step, which it sounds like you're doing. So that's awesome. That's
Totally.
awesome. So what about shoes? What about where do you get shoes? Cool shoes. Is that online too?
I do love shoes. I have this brand now. I'm wearing these. Let's see if I can. I have these boots.
Oh, those are
I
cute.
almost
I
always
love
have shoes on, like even if I'm just sitting at my computer, something different about, wearing heel. I feel, I don't know, just feel like me. But these are Paris, Texas, which I really love this brand because they're, I mean, think of the name. It's like Texas, but then it's like chic, Paris, Texas. It's kind of fun.
right.
But I mean, I have to say shoes, that's like one thing. If you're going to invest in one nice thing, like make it shoes. Like it makes such a difference on your feet. So like having the the actual, like, what's it called, leather bottoms or whatever, like well-made shoes.
Right.
It's an investment that's worth it many times over. But yeah, it kind of depends. I have clients all over the map. I have some clients that never wear heels, so we have to find. I have clients that want to do things out of recycled materials. I've had
Right.
clients that were buying the designer stilettos, or some people are wearing tennis shoes. So I mean, it's like it's all over the map, really.
Well, that's a client base, right? That sounds like, for sure. So when you think about your target market, who do you think? I mean, it sounds like there's a whole fathom of different people. Who would be like your ideal client?
Yeah, my other client is someone I say is like a creative genius and a trailblazer. I say most of my clients are entrepreneurial.
Okay.
They're out there, in the public. They know that they really care about their brand a lot and having like unique branding.
Okay.
And yeah, it's actually someone that loves style. Actually, someone who loves and who wants to like take that love and just dial it up even more. Like sometimes my person, maybe they've gone through something in their life recently. Maybe it was a divorce. Maybe it was just a shift and change, and so they haven't been able to. They're just really to like step it up. They're like stepping into this next evolution of who they are, and they're ready to dial up their expression. So, I mean, my ideal person, they love to be. They're on Instagram, they're on social media, they're getting on stages.
Yeah.
They're really, they're ready to be in the spotlight even more.
Yep. I love it. I love it. That's why you told them to own the spotlight, right?
Yeah, right.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Now, I know you gave me your website. Do you have any kind of guide or freebie that people can connect with you and come into your world, or anything that that people can connect?
Yeah.
outside of the website?
I do have actually on my website, I have a couple things. One of them is I have my own The Spotlight Masterclass. So I create a whole masterclass around it, and you can learn about the process and how and all the steps to dumping your shame drawer and owning the spotlight and finding the style that's true to you. I also have a really fun, if you look at my website, Style Archetype Quiz. So you can answer these like 10 questions, and it walks you through different shopping suggestions and like really owning the style essence that you have, and kind of can kickstart some ideas. And then, of course, I love Instagrams, and I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on all the platforms, so you can find me over there.
Yeah, so I got it going across the screen now, so you guys can check her out, and I'll put it down in the chat, in the description, in the show notes, so people can actually see it as well. So I'm curious, if somebody is watching and they haven't yet stepped out into that alter ego, what would you tell them as far as how they could start to walk it out?
Yeah, like who their alter ego could be. I would say just go where, like, follow the fun, like
Okay, I love it.
follow the joy. Like, I don't think it's something that you can figure out with your mind. It's something playful. Like, for instance, I had a client recently, and I told her, I was like, I think you need to go like take yourself on an abundance trip. And part of the work that she does is connected with abundance and stuff. And I was like, and I mean, it's so out of the box. So here I am helping her with her style. I was like, I think you need to take a trip for yourself. And she ended up doing it and scheduling it. And she went to this amazing resort in Scottsdale, Arizona. And she said it was like the best thing ever. And then she ended up like getting, she was in this relaxed state, and through a series of things, she ended up getting this big speaking opportunity, and some other things fell into place. And it was just like, I don't know, like do something. I think so often, I'm sure people that are watching as well, like they work so hard, they're focusing on, growing their businesses, taking care of their families, everything else, but really just allowing yourself space for you.
Yep.
I think you might, and being like open to like what's inspiring you. I always love to ask and see. I love to study my clients and figure out like who are the people that they're like actually secretly jealous of. That's actually not a bad thing. There's maybe something that person is reflecting to you about what it is that you truly want, and who is it that that you love this popping up on your feed on social media, and that might be like a clue into what you actually desire.
Okay, I love it. I love it. That is great advice. That is so great. It's so great. And basically what you're saying well, you didn't say this, but I know in some people's cases, they may do this. They may take that time to be by themselves, to really be in, to really get into themselves, to kind of figure that out. So I think that's awesome advice. Well, Jenn, this has been so good, girl. You gave us some golden nuggets today. Thank you so much for coming. And those that are watching, thank you again for being a part of this wonderful interview with Jenn. If you know of anyone you would like me to interview, by all means, comment leave a message in the comments, and we will go from there. All right. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.
Thanks for having me.